Simply try. I can't tell you how many times I said I'll try just one more time. Picking myself up, taking a deep breath, with the hope that this time will be very different. But in the back of my head, the pain and fear of failing again and again is still so very, very strong. With the pain and fear from failure is so strong that the last thing I want to do is to relive that pain again and again and let it succeed and take over me. At the same time, I have this drive inside of me and belief that this one will be different. I've done things, I've worked on myself, now it's going to be very, very different. But the mind and body find so many distractions. I can't tell you how many distractions it keeps going through every single day. Like a simple 10-minute task can take all day. It's avoiding this, avoiding that. It won't let me go in. I've got a distraction. Oh, I've got to do this. So this has come up. Being swept away constantly from the fast negative experiences can feel so overwhelming. The mind plays such games after game to distract us. The fight or flight kicks in. It takes over, puts into autopilot. You go back into the old habits. There's many things that it keeps doing all the time, distracting this, and then the imagination, the past, what happened, the experiences of feeling, the emotions, what it looks like. No, you can't do it, you're not going to do it. The games in the head, the Yitzhahara, the evil inclination comes in and keeps telling us, it's going to happen this way, it's going to happen that way, distracting us. The heart starts changing pace. It keeps going on and on and on the list. But what I can tell you, the result of it is I end up putting so much pressure on myself to prevent the fear from coming in, prevent the failure from coming in. I'm not going to do it this time. It's an old habit that I've picked up, that I've adapted from trauma as a child. I thought, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fight it. I remember many years ago, probably 15 years ago, I was in so much pain. I was not going to give in. If I can't sit down, I'll stand up. If I can't stand up, I'll sit down. It doesn't exist. I'm going to just fight it. But what I discovered, that this approach was actually making it harder and locking up more and more. So instead of trying it, I was actually fighting what I didn't want. So where really is it trying? It's a very thing. What it's trying to do is, as a negative experience that's happened from a child, and I'm trying to no, it doesn't exist. It's like, I'm not looking, but I know it's there. It was an approach that I thought, okay, never give in, never give in. You got to keep pushing through. But instead of pushing through, it's actually pulling through the old negative emotion into the area of thinking it's trying, it's going to resolve the issue. And it kept happening time and time again, year after year, thinking this was the only way to do it. Just don't give up, be strong about it, just push through. And what was happening? My body was shutting down more and more. I was getting more pains. My arms were getting sore, my neck was getting sore. It kept going on and on. I was agitated. The body kept revving up all the time. It was like it was constantly going. At the same time, the body was craving to feel calm and relaxed. But I can't give up. And I end up getting this huge tunnel vision. This is the only way to do it. Just put the pressure on, keep the pressure on. That'll resolve it. But then 20 years ago, I was like, hold on a minute, I can't do this anymore. I'm still in my 20s, early 30s, but it's taking its toll on me physically. Not wanting to listen to those signals before. I just got to keep trying, I got to keep doing it. I'm not giving in. I had a convincing mindset that I'm never going to give in. But I didn't really know what I'm giving into and not giving into. I just knew the immediate pain and suffering. I've just got to push through it, just keep pushing through it. But the problem is when you're pushing through it, you're taking with you the old pains and suffering. So I have to understand it in a very different way. See, I heard this concept of letting go. Oh, just let go of it. But I really had no idea. I thought, wow, this sounds amazing. I have choices, I can let go. So if you want to try and it's not working, you just let go of the past. But at the same time, I also knew that the mind and body always wants to gravitate to something. You can't just let go of and not replace it with something, because it's just going to go back to the old habits. Now, when there's a lot of fear around, it's going to go back to the old negative habits that it feels most comfortable with. But the most comfortable ones the mind and body feels with is not the ones you want, because it's a dominant habit. So I'm trying to understand this. I've got a dominant habit of what I don't want, and I have to let go at the same time, and I have choices. Oh, so I let go. But there was something inside of me that wasn't adding up. So then all of a sudden I understood that letting go means letting go of trying to fight it, letting go of trying to overcome it. Instead, let the negativity, the old habits, the pain be there. I know they're there, I'm going to allow them to be there, but I'm going to have a choice of shifting over to where I want to be. So now what have I done? I've created a new way for my mind to hook into something. But the old habit is going to be dominant. So if I try with the old program, I'm going to slap the old program through. But I know the Creator, Shem, God, gave us choices. And I know He gave me the past as a beautiful way to help me. Okay? So now I have another beautiful tool that I can put in there. So that this past now was there to help me. So instead of trying to fight it, trying to take it on, trying to ignore it, that this was there for a good reason. That means if I let go of the negative portion thinking this was bad and replace it saying this, thank you Hashem, thank you God, thank you the Creator that He gave it to me to help me be a better person, help me let go of the physical barriers and move into something much more peaceful and calmful. So what I'm doing is now accepting it and now visualizing and moving into what I do want. So now it's going to be up and down road like everything else. So, but the more you create the new way of what you do want, the more it can come in. So the thing is that the mind and body starts getting so busy on me all the time. And then I'm like getting swept away. It's like, hold on a minute. That's an old program coming in. I have choices right now. I can keep getting swept away. I can try and fight it and take it on, but I just know that the body can't take it anymore. So what do? I just allow it, acknowledge it, thank it. The Creator, Shem, gave it to me for good reason. So then I can look at it another way, and I know my mindset of coming from an engineering background that I'm very, very good at working things out. So I've got that gift that I can use. So I can use that gift of doing it, but at the same time, I also know I have the gift about to feel energies. And if something doesn't feel right, that's a very strong signal. So now I've got the past, that it's not my enemy anymore, it's a good friend. I've got the ability to realize that if something doesn't feel right, that's also there to help me. And at the same time, I also know that I have the choice and I have the ability to work things out. Now, how do you work it out? Well, I can force it, I can make it happen, but that's not really making it work. It's like trying to put that square peg into a round hole. So what do I do now? So the next step for me to do is just be open, like, oh, okay, what's being open? I'm open to trying. So before, by trying to force it, I'm putting rigidity on it. So now I'm thinking, wow, if I'm open, I can be open to signals coming from anywhere. It could be from, I don't know where it would be. Someone could say something on the street, or it could have happened a half an hour, an hour ago, a day ago. I was like, I was working on this thing. I actually heard the answer. Or it may be an email or a text from somebody random that you don't even expect it from, but hidden inside there's little gems. So now I'm like, wow. Instead of this, trying is now basically telling me to just open up and let go of the fixed ways. And I feel so comfortable in routines. And for me to move out of the routine and to be open to this, it's very scary. But I've got to convince myself in a positive way. Really, convincing is a very strong word. Just open myself up and allow myself that this way has worked, and it does work. Because when you start to trust yourself and you feel it, it's like, wow, it's so enjoyable. And the trying can be exciting. Instead of knowing that it's a failure and it's an awful thing, to now shifting into a pleasant, beautiful space. So that keeps coming in, and the old habits will come in and come out. It's like, okay, I know, I just become present, and I know and just focus that the Creator can help me. I've got the skills and I've got the gifts and I've got all the beautiful stuff out there, and I know the answers are already within me. So I've just got to just do my part, which is just letting go of the old way and replacing it with a new way and opening it up and staying calm. And no, trying can be a beautiful thing. And it doesn't mean if you get it wrong, it's a failure. Just know that getting it wrong is actually part of the journey. and we start understanding what part of the journey is to enjoy it, it changes it all around so much. And I guess there's one more thing I want to add to it. When you feel bad about the situation, you're like bringing in what you don't want. You're going to attract something, and if it's in a negative way, you're going to attract more of that. So now you open up and start releasing it of the pain and focusing on what you want, and you bring in some more goodness and gratitude, and you start becoming thankful. So what happens when you become thankful? You're focusing on what you do want, and you're focusing on that it's succeeding, and you're having more trust in yourself, you're having more trust in the Creator, Shem, and God Himself. It just turns it around so much. It is so beautiful how it happens. I want to thank you very much for staying through to the end. I appreciate it a lot. If you subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. Haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and looking forward to reading your comments. Thank you once again.